It's kind of wild to think that Grand Theft Auto 5 came out over a decade ago and it still looks this good. The recent enhanced edition of Grand Theft Auto 5 took things to the next level with built-in ray tracing and a ton of new graphical tweaks. And naturally, that wasn't enough for the modding community, who have taken things even further, and with just a few mods we can make Grand Theft Auto 5 look like a truly next-gen game, which may just hold you over while you wait for Grand Theft Auto 6. Let's check out what they've done. So what you're looking at right now is Grand Theft Auto 5 Enhanced Edition running with Natural Vision and Lively World expansion mods installed. Normally, when I cover these crazy visual overhaul mods for games like Skyrim or Fallout, it involves installing hundreds of mods. And while the results are incredible, the process for getting all those mods working can be quite tedious. I'll often resort to some of the pre-made mod packs that will all be tested to work together. But with GTA 5 Enhanced Edition, modders now have ray tracing to work with from the ground floor. They don't have to build it themselves with some sort of extremely over-the-top modding solution. The mod Natural Vision has been available for the basic version of GTA 5 for years, and it's sort of become the gold standard for visual overhaul mods. It's faithful to the game's original art, and it includes enhanced textures, reworked weather and lighting, plus a ton of custom reshade tweaks. And the Enhanced Edition of Natural Vision's mod launched just recently, and it takes advantage of the game's included ray tracing features. And in a roundabout way, it's kind of led to some nice performance boosts, plus even better looking lighting. Compared to the legacy version of Grand Theft Auto, which used Natural Vision to build in the ray trace lighting, obviously the mod came with a huge performance cost. But now that ray tracing is built into the Enhanced Edition, Natural Vision can build atop that rather than having to create their own entire system. Now, in no way, shape, or form do you absolutely have to have Natural Vision modding the Grand Theft Auto Enhanced Edition experience. It's already really impressive. But it does add that little bit of secret sauce to just pop the game a little bit closer towards reality. It's quite literally like dialing it up from 10 to 11 when it comes to the lighting quality. But if you've modded the classic Grand Theft Auto, you'll know that a lot of the big transformation happens incrementally as you start to add more mods, and adding the Lively World expansion into this is one that makes a huge difference. Even though its concept is relatively simple, it adds trees and props around the map just to make it fill out and look more dense and realistic. Basically, it's getting the world props and geometry on a level that matches the lighting upgrade. And it almost seems obvious when you look at the Enhanced Edition without this mod. The actual density of the world leaves so much to be desired. Rolling hills you'd expect to be covered in foliage are more or less barren. The trees lining the city streets are nice, but they're few and far between. Lively World just takes that density and makes it feel real. Now, I really wanted to go further and start packing on more and more mods. I looked into some of the character overhauls, building interiors, texture reworks, car physics tweaks, but so many of those mods are still in the early days when it comes to support for the Enhanced Edition. I'm sure they'll be coming soon, but even without adding on 100 mods, things are still incredibly impressive. Loading into the experience, I immediately just started to wander off into the world and admire the scenery. Very much like the first time I started playing GTA 5, I was just mesmerized by the scope and fidelity of the world. I found myself wandering the streets of Los Santos once again on foot, just peeking down alleyways, watching traffic go by, even crossing crosswalks like I was experiencing GTA 5 for the first time all over again. And that is a hard bit of magic to recapture, and I think the Enhanced Edition combined with these mods has really done that, which is saying a lot. However, even with that said, GTA 5 Enhanced Edition with mods has its limitations. As good as it looks, it's hard to get around that it's still a product of its time, of 2013, well over a decade ago. The first-person mode is impressive, but it's a game that was clearly designed for third-person. Weapons don't support proper ADS, and without third-person view, your character or vehicle movement and driving just feels incredibly clunky. Character models and animations are also pretty basic when you're comparing it to modern games. Watching NPCs talk or walk down the street, it's obvious that they're just running on scripted behavior in a bubble around you. But that's not to say that the simulation of the world isn't still impressive. There's nothing like a random high-speed chase blowing past you out of nowhere. It really does make the world feel much more alive and like you're just witnessing things going on in it as opposed to the game catering an experience to you. Now also, and unfortunately, because modding support for Enhanced Edition is still in its very early days, there are some bugs that you're probably going to notice. The biggest issue I noticed were flickering shadows, which is a known problem with the Lively World mod at the moment. The other thing that seems like it could be a pretty tricky fix is Grand Theft Auto 5's level of detail system. Even on max settings, pop-ins for buildings, vehicles, and shadows can be pretty darn noticeable, especially when using Natural Vision's built-in trainer to enable free cam mode. But unless you're flying around in a jet or really looking for the pop-in, it's not as much of an issue as you might think. And in fact, it seems mostly noticeable if you're just very used to modern games where they've come up with a lot of good solutions for level of detail transitions that some of the older games hadn't quite mastered yet. And having an old level of detail system with very specific pop-in settings can be hard to work around if you can't mod some of that base logic. Who knows? Maybe the modders will be able to mod some of that at some point and create smoother pop-ins. Rockstar and the modding community have really taken this old, dated engine extremely far, but there's probably some limits here that may never be overcome. At this point, it's really up to the modding community to keep pushing the envelope, assuming that they don't all just migrate over to GTA 6 when it launches. And you gotta give some credit to the modding scene around this game. Even the vanilla version of GTA 5 was modded so much that it looked incredible. It's got a modding scene that can easily rival Bethesda games. It's taken on a life of its own, so much so that Rockstar actually acquired the development of 5M, the main role-playing mod for GTA 5. And if GTA 6 sees even a fraction of the success that this game did, the modding potential could be absolutely mind-blowing. From the trailers, it's clear that GTA 6 is aiming to improve just about everything from the past game and also set a new visual benchmark for gaming universally. We could be looking at a future where GTA 6 becomes not just a next-gen title, but a full-blown life simulator if people want to mod in completely different gameplay loops, where maybe you're not progressing the story as much, but instead just living a sim-style life. I mean, it could literally become a competitor to The Sims if people want to mod in that kind of support. For the here and now, though, there's never been a better time to revisit GTA 5. Working on this video generally got me interested in replaying the campaign again, though I have a feeling, and this is what happens when I jump back into something that looks so good, I end up just spending a lot of my time wandering around and getting into little side adventures and just enjoying the immersion of the world, because at the end of the day, this world is massive. It's got so much stuff to do in it, and when you've got that crazy visual overhaul on top of it, it just becomes a whole new experience once again. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop me a like, subscribe for more content like it, and up next, I would highly recommend checking out this video that I titled The Next Minecraft, which is a solo dev's take on what an upgraded experience to the general Minecraft concept could be, and it is very impressive. I think you guys will enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.